Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. For all those viewers who have tuned in for episode 5 on Mic'd Up on YouTube. So right now we're live on our own channel on YouTube, Mic'd Up 416. So please, for those who are not watching on Mic'd Up 416 on YouTube, please go ahead and like and subscribe and hit the bell icon for future updates and programs. And we're also live on Sufi Council of Toronto on Facebook and YouTube. So I want to thank all the viewers from wherever you're watching for tuning in to episode 5 on family drama. I know everybody goes through this. So we're going to talk a lot about what's happening in and around people's families, things that we have heard from people themselves, issues with the in-laws, marriage relationships between husband and wife, etc., fathers and their kids, mothers and their kids, and vice versa. So we're going to talk about that today, inshallah. Before we begin, I'm just going to go through the formalities like I always do. So please follow us on social media. We're also on Instagram, Mic'd Up 416. So go ahead and follow for short clips and upcoming programs to keep you guys up to date. We're also Sufi Council of Toronto on all of the platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram. So go out and subscribe, like, and follow on all those channels as well. Sufi Council of Toronto, which is our umbrella organization. And we're here live at the Makkah Islamic Center, 3234 Eglinton Avenue East in Scarborough, where we do our Mic'd Up podcast. So I'm going to turn it over to my guests to introduce them to talk about family drama. It's going to be a very entertaining conversation with my panel today. So over to my right, I have none other than from our first podcast, back into the routine, Hafiz Bilal. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, brother. How are you doing?
Alhamdulillah. How are you, Hafiz Saab? MashaAllah. Thank you for joining us today.
A pleasure.
And then continuing on the panel, I think he's only missed one episode, if I'm not mistaken. We have my elder brother. So coincidentally, we're talking about family drama, and I got my elder brother with me. So he's back for today as well. We get a lot of comments about my brother. You know, he in this little movement, he's been doing very, very good, and people have been enjoying what he has to say and taking it and running with it. So we appreciate them coming back again. Janab Mohtaram Amir Qadri Saab, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum, Hafiz Bilal.
Wa alaikum assalam.
MashaAllah. So this is our panel. So Jazakallah for both of the brothers for being here today. So we're going to get right into it. Family drama. So there's a lot that we can discuss. We've known each other for a very long time. I'm not just talking about my brother. I've known him my whole life, but meaning our group, we've been tight-knit. We know each other. We're kind of like family as well. And we have things that we have, ikhtilaf and stuff with. But I want to get into the blood relationship and what we see at home and talk about that. But before we begin, I think one of the first question is what does family mean to you, and why is family important?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The importance of family, according to the Sharia, first of all. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said in one of the hadiths in Mubarak, that I am Allah, I am Rahman, I am the one who builds relations. Now he took that name of his, Ism Garami ar-Rahman, and in Arabic, Rahim actually means relationship. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, whoever is in good relationship, I will bring him closer to me. And whoever is disconnects relationship with anyone, I disconnect from him.
Okay.
The meaning towards this is family. Even Rahim means relationship. And the other hadith of Mubarak, Sayyidina Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu said that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said, in building relationships in this category, that if there anyone that has lost his relationship with his family, nor his dua will be accepted, and wherever he goes, if he's sitting in a mehfil, a majlis, a gathering, because of him, that individual, there will be no barakat. in that family because of that one individual that cut ties with his kin, his relationship. And then again, we'll go to another hadith Mubarak. I'm saying this because the importance of bondage in a relationship first before we get into the podcast. So understand these ahadith Mubarak. The other hadith Mubarak, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said, the bad of the family. There's a family member. There's always a bad family member that has hatred. Rasulullah says it is necessary for you to give him sadaqah first. Why? Because understand the hadith, understand Islam. Rasulullah is trying to connect you back with your family, not disconnect you.
Mm-hmm.
Another hadith Mubarak, Rasulullah said that an angel will shake your hand for 3 people. The first is the martyrs, the ones that will be doing jihad. Second, the one that is obedient to his family. And third, the one that will be doing tawaf around the Kaaba.
Subhanallah.
Now, these are just small ahadith, very basic, not in heart of seeds. And understand the connection now, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants. Now, the last ahadith I want to present, if I have ijazah. Sayyidah Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu ta'ala anha said that dua, the dua.
Yeah.
Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said dua is linked to the throne, the arsh, at all times.
Right.
And the dua says to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, link me to you. Don't disconnect me towards you.
Mm-hmm.
I obtain Rahim from you. Rahim with good relations. And whoever is with good relations, attach me with you. The dua is saying this with them. And whoever disconnects me with you, disattach them.
Allahu Akbar.
This is Aisha Siddiqa saying this. She's a ravia of this. Where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say, so that dua is intercessor for you too. That dua doesn't
MashaAllah.
even want a person that has disconnected from his family.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want that to be
dua
presented.
doesn't want to be
Intersectors for you.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Subhanallah.
Do you understand?
That's you know what, we can talk about like relationships. We talked about, you know, the connects, the disconnects and stuff like that. Let's talk about, even because since we're talking about the Islamic portion, so Hafiz Bilal, the importance of your mother and your father.
Everyone knows this hadith. When the Sahaba asked the Prophet ﷺ, who has the most right over you? Among your parents, who has the most right over you? He said, your mother.
MashaAllah.
And they asked, who after that? He said, your mother.
Yeah.
Who after that? Your mother. And then who after that? He said, your father.
MashaAllah.
So it's 3 times your mother, and then
Your father.
the last time they asked, it was your father.
MashaAllah.
And then there's the famous hadith that Jannah lies under the doors of Jannah are under your mother's feet.
Bishak.
But people also forget the other half of it, which is the key to the door is your father.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah. So we understand that Islam teaches, safe to say, is that Islam teaches us about unity. Allah, like Hazrat was saying, that Allah talks about unity and those people that keep bonds together, which means family relationship. And not only that, just relationship with the deen. So a Muslim brother with a Muslim brother, a Muslim sister with a Muslim sister, etc. This was taught by the Quran, this is taught by Islam, this is taught by the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ.
Sorry,
Yes.
Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has even said, after salah and you do dua, one of the main duas is for your parents. If the one has not done his dua, the famous one that we have done, the prophetic duas of Sayyidina Ibrahim, Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, you know, Rabbi jalni muqima salati wa min zurriyati Rabbana wa taqabbal dua, Rabbana ighfirli wa li walidayya. So we use this as was a prayer as Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam to his parents.
Of course.
So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said, the one who has not supplicated for his parents,
Yes.
and this dua will be not accepted either.
Wow.
And he also added one more.
Yes.
Rabbi irhamhuma kama rabbayani saghira.
Bishak.
Oh Allah, to have mercy on my parents as they did when I was
Absolutely.
young.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah. So we understand this. Now, so we got the deen part, and we'll go back to it too. I'm sure a hadith will come up in prophetic sunnahs of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. Now, we obviously see there's a disconnect. Mothers are not getting along with their daughters. Fathers are not getting along with their sons. Siblings are not getting along. We obviously see this. Let's start with, where is the biggest disconnect within the family?
Within the family, brothers, look, we can speak openly here on the podcast. What I feel, what happens in a family, is marriages that happens within the family. Now, brothers are getting married.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about generally what happens. I'm not speaking about sibling wars yet. I'm speaking about marriages. Now, I think I skipped one. So, do we want to go back a little bit?
Yeah.
or-
Let's start before we get
Acha,
step
acha.
by step.
Acha.
Let's get within the family first before even marriages are even spoken about and talked about. Let's talk about that first. So like Hafiz Bilal and Hafiz Yahya, they're not married. They live in the same house.
Yeah.
Things like that.
The thing is, bro, like there has to be some type of similarity, right, between the family members.
Yeah.
Now, when the medium between the family is Islam, and I feel that is a unity, and that's why I was telling you this whole tafsir about this hadith Mubarak in the beginning. If there's no Islam in your household, then it's destruction.
Yeah.
Because Islam is going to unite you
Yeah.
at all times. So I feel like if Islam is not present in your home, problems start to occur.
Right. So, Hafiz Saab, you have a brother, obviously, Hafiz Yahya. Where do you think, if there is even, we're not saying I'm not trying to take out your guys' dirty laundry or anything, but there's obviously, like, I know when Hafiz Yahya was growing up, Haji Saab Rahmatullah alayh was, lad ke rakha, heavy. Yahya this, Yahya that. I know that. So parents obviously do that. The first one is the most dear. In our case, it was my brother. So how does that feel, first of all, with your parents?
I don't think I've seen, like, so to say, like a difference.
Okay.
Sure, like little things here and there between like how they treat each of us, but overall it was pretty much the same, right?
Yeah.
And as Brother Armin was saying, just to add on to that, Islam does unite the family first.
Yeah.
Right? Because Islam isn't meant to be practiced outside or just in the masjid or like when you're out at school. It's meant to be practiced at home first.
Right.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
And another thing for that is, for a household, so to say, right? When kids are growing up, kids only have two main inputs of knowledge: what they see and what they hear. Right?
Yeah.
And if the parents practice or emphasize Islam on their kids, then you'll see it when they grow up.
Right. It's a very good point, right? It makes sense. But often what we see is, he got this, so I want this. He got these brand new Jordans, so I want Jordans. He's got Nike, how come I get Brooks? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you get different. There's always that competition. So now, if there's no Islam, sometimes there's more pressure on the eldest child. And the eldest child, because you might have 2 or 3 different siblings, has a little bit more pressure. So there's more boj, there's more weight on the shoulders of the eldest. So then the parents are harder on the eldest. So why do we see these things happen? Because the eldest could get frustrated then, right?
Look, sometimes with the parents, right, they need to cool down a little bit because, you know what, they see this dream, right? They see this, okay, my first son, my first daughter.
Yeah.
She's the gateway, she's the lottery, she's everything for us, and she's going to do that. And parents, unfortunately, think like that. It's bad parenting.
Yeah.
Actually, in Sharia, it's called, there's mukhtalif type of shirk as well.
Yeah.
This type of shirk is also a small, lesser part of shirk, meaning he's going to become something and he's going to support us.
He's got golden ticket.
You know what I mean? And then this is why we emphasize on, oh, my son, I want him to become a doctor, a surgeon. But you got to ask, are you doing it for his own sake as well?
Yeah.
Or that's what you pressured from beginning since he was born? You're going to become a doctor, you're going to become a doctor, you're going to become a doctor. You know what? I'm not going to lie to you. There's some people in my family that said I wanted to be, like they said for me, oh, you're going to become a doctor. You're going to become a doctor, and you know what? We're not going to work ever again, and we're not going to do this, and we're not going to do that.
And usually, just to add on, as parents usually use the oldest child as an example for the younger ones, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But, the thing is, we tend to forget, though, sometimes we forget to tell them, even there's nothing wrong for them to become a doctor, but did you tell them the good things about that, about becoming a doctor, rather than the income?
But you're forcefully choosing their fate. Do you think that's right? Like you're choosing, this person. Why can't you trust? So you're a father, right? Let's use your example. Let's say, tomorrow you say, I want Ali to be in the NBA, just as an example. But he doesn't like basketball. You're technically ruining his life because he's not going to be doing something that he wants or that he loves. He plays soccer. So he says, no, Dad, I want to be a soccer player rather than a basketball player. So what do you say to parents about that?
Well, see, that's where education comes in hand. Like, we went to university. Some of our parents have not. We have learned a lot of psychology as well, and parenting and upbringing and et cetera, et cetera. My son can become whatever he wants, but there's only one condition for him to be pursuing Islam first. And then in dunyavi, worldly, he can become whatever he wants. He can become a freedom fighter. He can become United States Prime Minister, next Prime Minister right now. You see what the things like Duck Dynasty going on over there, right? But the thing is, like,
Duck Dynasty took over Capitol Hill.
But the thing is, he can become whoever he wants as long as he's a good human being. That is the advice I'm going to give to my children. Always, just become good. I don't want nothing from you.
So what makes you what makes you say that? What makes you say
Islam made me think that? Of course, Islam makes me think that. In the Quran, it says only for one thing for your children. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says? Obedient child.
MashaAllah.
You do dua for an obedient child. Now, what is the definition of an obedient child? It's the one when the parent passes away, he will pray for you.
MashaAllah.
Right? For sadaqah jariyah, what are the three things?
One of them is an obedient child that will pray for you continuously after you have left this dunya.
Exactly.
And then you plant a tree, it continues to give you, or you give to the masjid.
Something that will give you reward.
Something that will continuously give you reward. And you're right. And it's an obedient child.
Everything comes to an end except those three, right? Yeah. And one of them is an obedient child that will continue to pray for you. That's all that matters, brothers and sisters who are watching. That's all that matters in this world. There's nothing else. Brothers, we're going to go to our qabr. Bro, we have some people who don't even know how to read Fatiha, don't even have the tawfiq of coming to the masjid and praying for you and doing khatam al-Quran, doesn't even have the tawfiq. The hidayat and tawfiq doesn't even come into them. Ma'azallah, astaghfirullah al-azim. The only thing that you should be teaching them, that, listen, to be obedient and follow the Quran and the Sunnah.
MashaAllah. Before you go, Hafiz Ab, just got a message from Brother Zik. It was his...
birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, our birthday just a couple days ago. Thank you for taking the words out of my mouth. So happy birthday to Zik. Shout out to Zik. He's such a great supporter. Great brother.
Good person.
Love that guy. Zakaria.
And he's Sayyid.
And he's a big Sufi freedom fighter. So online playing his Call of Duty and stuff. So sorry guys. Shout out to Brother Zik. Love you. Want to see you soon, inshallah. So Hafiz Ab, you were saying?
Oh yeah. So I just want to add on is that I think also why parents are more controlling for the kids is, in most cases, obviously they want the best for their kids, right?
Of course.
But I think they're fearful of their kids going down the wrong path or making a wrong decision or something, that they overlook the fact that they may be ruining their lives.
Yeah.
But they're not part of their household anyway. They're not part of their lives anyways. That's the main problem of the parents too.
Right.
They worry. Okay, but then are you outside looking for your child? Do you know where your child is?
Right.
If you have to have that connection, parents, with your children nowadays. Listen,
that's what's lost.
You know what I mean? Like your son is interested in whatever extracurricular. Have you gone to see him? Have you gone to pick him up? Have you gone to spectate? Whatever it is. Are you involved with that parent, with that student, with your son or daughter? I apologize.
Yeah.
Are you a parent in his life? But then, you know what? You don't care.
Do you take interest in what they're doing?
Yeah.
Right? And that's the biggest disconnect. So if they're actually good at something, encourage them to do the best. They will be happier, and in reward, they will be happy that you're happy. It means so much more, right, Hafiz Ab?
Yep.
I can remember. I know Hafiz Yahya is not on the podcast, but he changed his majors so many times. I remember, because we know your family obviously for a very long time. Your parents supported it. Yep. Whatever you want to do, even for yourself, right?
Because I think, parents should be controlling to a certain age.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
Once your kid matures, I think you have to let them have the freedom, right?
Listen, if every kid makes a mistake, we made mistakes, we continue to make mistakes, even though we're older and stuff like that, kids are going to make mistakes. Yep. But you, as a parent,
should be the one
pick
advising
them up.
them. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Don't push them back down, just pick them up.
100%.
Yeah.
So I know the parents thing, we can go all day long. We don't want to seem like we're just bashing parents and stuff. Yeah. Look, I love my parents. Allah give my mother a high rank in Jannat
Ameen.
al-Firdaus, inshallah. And, my father too, like things like that. But ultimately, it goes down to now in the house now. So we're going from step to step. Now you got sibling wars, right? And siblings, like we mentioned, this person has this person has that. I want this, I want that. My parents treat this person wrong or treats them this way and that way, etc. So now they get married. So let's talk about that. They get married. They live in a joint family. So we hear this all the time. The in-law wars. So why is this happening? Why are because we always hear that. Yo, my sauce is like this, my sasuma is like this. So let's talk about that. Like why is this like this?
There's two factors in this. One, the mother-in-law is not ready to become a mother-in-law.
Okay.
That's because she has to transform now back to a mother-in-law. Before she was a mother.
Right.
She'll always be a mother. I'm trying to make people understand.
Mm-hmm.
Now her role has to change now. Because when the daughter-in-law comes now, she will be playing the role of that mother, what she was playing before.
Sure.
And now she has to step back now and spectate and see what's going on and let the family, let everything roll. But that's not happening. And the other part is the daughter-in-law, she ain't behaving correctly. And she doesn't know at all what's going on.
So how do we fix this?
No, we fix this by, listen, there are always going to be issues like that. Because in our culture, it's a joint family system. Especially if you're living in back home, India and Pakistan, you know what? There's privacy. In our household, there's no privacy. Our houses are smaller.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So you can't build anymore. Back home, you could build and build and build. So Sasuma lives on the other end, and we're living over here. There's no issues, right? You can live in this huge house, but still be separated. But in Western world, where our houses are smaller, right? And where are you gonna hide?
I like what you said, right? So I know Bilal, you're not married yet. Inshallah, very soon we're gonna find Hafiz Abba a nice one after Hafiz Yahya. He's sitting in the back. Hafiz Yahya's waiting, but you're first, buddy. But the thing is the mother-in-law the mother can't fathom the fact that I raised this boy and he's now grown up and this and that. I cared for him, nurtured for him, did all those things. And now someone else is going to be cleaning his clothes, washing his clothes, ironing his clothes, feeding him, this and that. So that's the disconnect. But why can't people mind their business? Because that's what we always say. Yo, Sasuma is doing dakhal indazi. She's getting into my business. She's doing all these things, especially in India and Pakistan. Because I'll tell you straight, this doesn't happen how it does in our culture versus other cultures as much. Because they're separated. So the question is, and I just got a question on the phone, should kids, after they're married, live in the same house with their in-laws?
You know what? Look, to me, the best way of doing it is the most obedient of the child should take care of take care of his family. And I think one of them it depends how big the family is, first of all, right? You can't expect 4 brothers living in that one household. Sometimes. Let's be realistic now, right? Like, it could happen, but sometimes it won't happen most of the times. But I think let's be realistic now. One should take care, and the other ones could move out. There's nothing wrong with moving out.
Yeah.
One should take care of the parents. I don't believe in nursing homes. I don't believe in retirement homes. And astaghfirullah, whoever has done that, lanat on you to bring your parents and put your parents into suffering like that. It doesn't matter what the situation is. I'm so sorry to say that you cannot see your parents go like that. One son should take care of, at least take the responsibility of taking that. And this should be communicated before getting married. Especially with your family as well. Like, listen, we're gonna get married now. All y'all need to move out, and when you get married, move out. I think that's fair. Like, if one brother is married and there's 3 other brothers in the household, okay, when you guys get married now, Hafiz Bilal, when you get married now, it's time to to move your little feathers and to leave now, right? And I mean, Omar, when you get married now, okay, see you later, etc., etc. Right? So it's communicated very nicely, so there'll be no issues, man. Because, bro, you got 4 brothers, 4 other girls, ladies in the house, sister-in-laws running in the house. different personalities,
Yeah.
different mentalities.
Mhm.
It's going to be chaos. It's going to
It
be
is.
just chaos.
So I think Hafiz Saab will go to you because Haji Saab rahmatullah alayhi and then Amma, both of them, they lived with your dad, and your dad took them on and stuff like that. What did you see growing up with your grandparents? So your father taking care of his father. What did you see?
I just see that in our culture, family was prioritized.
Yeah.
I think even maybe just on par with religion. I maybe not agree with it, but that's
Yeah.
just how I saw it at least.
Right.
And I saw him as, you know what, he's the oldest son. He should be looking after them,
Right.
right? The younger son, he does have a younger brother. He got married and then he moved out.
Right.
Right.
So same thing what they were saying.
Right, right.
That's
Exactly the
perfect,
same
man. That's
thing,
perfect.
right? And that does not mean that you should force your spouse or your husband or wife to live with someone else, right? You shouldn't
Yeah.
force that decision on them. That should be a conversation, like Amr Bhai was saying,
Yeah.
beforehand,
Right.
right? And I think it's just you need to communicate.
No,
Just take
and
equal responsibility for that.
you know what? And the person that takes care of their parents, it's just blessings on
And
top of
when
blessings.
they move out, listen, this is what I mean. Like, look, we all act like, sour cats and all that afterwards. Look, it's a big family, 3, 4 brothers, whatever. Okay, a mom and a father is living with that immediate son right now. Okay, next weekend he's gonna live with Hafiz Bilal. Next weekend he's
Yeah,
gonna
I was
live
just
with
gonna say
Hafiz
that.
Yahya. Next weekend he's gonna live with Umar Qadri. Like this is
Share
how
the
it should
responsibility,
be.
yeah.
And then that's what I'm saying. The responsibility, the roles of the in-laws, they should understand that too, right? They should go up. Okay, next weekend I'm going over there to see my children, or a week, whatever it is.
But we also see that one sibling just hogs them. No, you're not going there. So, you can go there for the day, and then I'm picking you up. That's also not fair either. Like if a son, okay, let's say 4 brothers, 5 brothers, whatever, 4 brothers, they all bought their own house. They all moved out. They all did whatever. The parents come from India, Pakistan, or whatever, and they live with the eldest. Now the eldest can't say, like, no, I want to hog the parent. It's the haq of the other children too. Like, yo, bring my
but
parents around and
there's
stuff.
there's an internal issue, right? Like there's animosity going involved, right? That's the only reason why that person would say something like
I
that.
mean, that's why family drama happens.
The drama does occur, but like, you know what? But the parents should be aware enough to understand this because they're still parents, right?
Yeah.
They should be like, listen, no, that's my son too.
Of course.
That's my beta puttar. I'm gonna go there, and you can't do anything about it, and that's it. And that they have
It's not
to,
like the son has control over the parents, right?
and that's what I mean. The parents need to fulfill their roles correctly, but sometimes we don't see that, right?
So let's get into the more heated conversation in this, the marriage. So husband and wife not getting along. So we often see that the husband wants to do one thing, the wife wants to do another, and then there's a disconnect, right? And that causes drama as well. And then Sasuma is on the case of the daughter, and then the wife, and then the wife is obviously getting into the head of the husband, and then the kids are getting involved and all this stuff, because this is what we see, like what you see on these Pakistani Indian dramas and stuff. This is what's coming up. So why is this, and how do we go around this? How do we go around this disconnect between husband and wife?
Listen, husband and wife, there has to be a mutual understanding beforehand. And before, at the time of marriage, when picking out your spouse is very important, firstly. So now the spouse is not what it is to be. Now, you know what? We have a disaster in the house, right? The mindsets are not the same. Sasuma's mindset is not the same now. Now what occurs? What do we do? That's the main problem. So a counselor should be involved, respectfully. Someone to mediate, someone nicely to explain what marriage was about, what marriage should have been. And that's the only thing I can think of, because alhamdulillah, it's not in part of my household where I'm part of all this nonsense. But I've seen issues like that where the children, meaning the son, is being controlled by his wife, and now the in-laws are totally upset because of that as well. And this is just a disaster in the household.
So Hafizah, what do we see in regards to pre-marriages? So a lot of what happens nowadays is I want to pick my own wife. I want to pick my own husband or whatever. First of all, let's get with the young generation. You yourself being a little bit younger. You want to pick your own wife. You're hearing people that want to pick their own spouse or whatever. Are they going about it the right way? Do they have the blessings of their parents?
I think they should start with that. They should start with the blessings of their parents. You know, if you're gonna bring someone into the household that's at least gonna share some living time with their parents, you should at least ask them, right? There may be something that your parents don't see, right? And that's why they're against it. But at the same time, their parents could also be against it because, you know what? They're not giving you that choice, right? They do want you to get the arranged marriage instead of, you know what, bring your own wife. You know what?
Right.
And I think that's something that should be communicated both ways too, right? As a person looking for the wife, right? Do they meet your expectations or to a certain level? Like, are they a practicing Muslim, right? Are they even Muslim, right? And if you brought them to your house, would they be respectful to your parents? Disrespectful? Would they get along? I think that's something that should be like a process, like a vetting process, I guess.
Right. No, I think it's very important. But Islam allows you, within reason, there's governed by the Sharia.
Yep.
The Prophet ﷺ mentioned that you can pick your person, but there's restrictions to it. What are those restrictions? There's ways about going about doing it, meaning that...
No, the parents have to be informed. And if you like someone right away before any action of sin is occurred, it is to tell your household about who you like. And then the proposal should be gone out. And that's how it is. But like, okay, now we're done the marriage part, right? So now we're going inside the household, right? And now the lady comes in, now whoever you married, and then the drama is starting. Now the question should be like, what do we do then? So unfortunately, divorces are on the rise too now. Islamically, marriages are a disaster now. And, you know, it's very bad to see this in the Islamic world as well. Talaq is the worst thing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's eyes. I think honestly the rehabilitation, getting a counselor, speaking to someone before the talaq as well. And honestly the communication between the in-laws needs to be sorted out.
Okay, so why are we seeing so much divorce? Where's the disconnect? Why is
No
there
love,
divorce?
no love, no harmony.
So how do we build love between two people? There has to be something. If somebody's watching this and saying, "Look, I don't get involved. Like I'm not getting along with my spouse, or I'm not getting along with them." How do we can't just run to talaq. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned that talaq is that one thing that Allah hates rigorously and denounces talaq. The Prophet ﷺ would not allow it without counseling, like you said. So where there has to be a median. So the disconnect is somewhere. Where is that disconnect?
I think the first question should be, did you make an effort? Right? Don't resort to divorce as your first option. Leave it as your last option, right? You know, you can start very simply by just taking interest in your spouse's interests.
Yeah.
Right? Find some common ground and then build it from there. And it's not an overnight process like, yeah, I started today and it's going to be perfectly fine tomorrow. No, it's something that you have to build up.
Yeah, but we often see is that the man in the relationship wants to rule over the woman. The Prophet ﷺ also mentioned that the best of you are those who are best to your women folk. But the females also, this is not like to say, oh, you know, and all the females are clapping because they're hearing this, but it also means that they have a bunch of responsibility as well. A woman for her husband. What is that?
In Surah Nisa, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said many times, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has reminded us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, if your man, your husband, is not happy and pleased before he goes to sleep, the angels are going to be giving lanat on to the wife until morning. And that's how important it is for a woman to understand the value of her husband. And the sujood, if there was an ijazah for a sujood to occur again, it would be for
a wife for
her husband. For ta'zim.
Yeah.
You understand? This is the values in the household. But now we don't see these values. Parents are not teaching the ladies or the men,
Both ways, yeah.
both ways, before getting married.
Right.
Right now we have ladies like the ladies' mothers.
Yeah.
Right, they're teaching them, make sure you control your husband. Make sure how you have an eye on his credit card. Make sure you got that money. Okay? Make sure he doesn't do nothing with that. Okay? And you're just whipped.
Yeah.
Okay? You control everything. Make sure the control's in your hand. Okay, Betty? Okay, and then the worst thing, the doors are always open for you when you come back.
Astaghfirullah.
Look at this now.
No,
Look,
this is
that
wrong.
what that does is, look at that evil advice of the woman's family is so bad. It's like the door is always open for you, meaning there's no fear.
Don't worry, do
No
what
one
you
will
have
be-
to do
yeah,
and then
there's
come.
No, there's no accountability.
Yeah,
Meaning, do what you can. We'll be always here for you.
yeah.
No, how it should have been is if your husband is happy, the door is open for you.
Husbands
If
and
your
I.
husband is not happy,
Wow.
don't even think of coming back to the door.
Yeah.
You know, don't bring the shame back. We don't have shame anymore
Right.
in our culture, in our community.
Right.
We run around, we do what we can. We run back to our in-laws over and over.
Right.
Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Do you understand? But the problem is both ways are not being taught correctly.
Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, mashhur waqia, is when he went to go visit Sayyidina Ismail alayhi salam, and they weren't at home. They knocked on the door. They spoke to the wife that was there, his daughter-in-law, but he didn't say who he was. He went to check up on, where's Ismail? And he said this and this and this. He went out to go get some food and stuff like that for us, for our lively stock. And they said, okay, how are you living? The wife of Sayyidina Ismail alayhi salam at that time said, we're this, we're that, we're poor, we don't have food, we don't have any of this. He said, okay, what is your name? He goes, just tell them when Ismail comes back, Sayyidina Ibrahim is saying, alayhi salam, that when you come back, tell them I said, change your doorstep. Change your doorstep. So Sayyidina Ismail alayhi salam came and he smelled the fragrance and he says, was somebody here? And he said, yes. He goes, there's an old man that came and he said, he was asking me, how are we living? How is this? And she kept saying, we're living in this way, we're living poverty, we don't have anything, etc. And he said, but he had a paygam. And he goes, did he say anything else? Yes, he had a paygam. The message was, change your doorstep. He said, that was my father. And my father said to give you a divorce, to leave you, change your doorstep. Because they weren't God-fearing. Whatever they had. And what was the reverse? After Sayyidina Ismail and after many years, Sayyidina Ibrahim came again and he met his second wife checking up on Sayyidina Ismail alayhi salam. And she said, Alhamdulillah, what we have, what do you eat? Alhamdulillah, whatever Allah gives us. How much do you have? Whatever Allah has given us, Alhamdulillah. And he said this. And the message was at that time when he was leaving, keep your doorstep.
Yeah.
So the message comes from, and I keep going back to what you were saying, is Islam has to be apparent in your, it's not culture. Islam needs to be apparent in your house. So going into these evil ways of what the Sasuma is doing to her daughter and stuff like that and setting her up for destruction. So what is the end result? What do we see? That chugli starts to happen. Ghibbat starts to happen. I'm going to go tell my sisters and my brothers, this is what you're doing to me. This is what you're doing. This is how you're treating me. What is this?
The extended family starts to
Get involved.
Get involved now, right? Like the in-laws and in-laws are fighting. And what it does is it causes a lot of grief upon the husband and wife eventually, right? It causes so much grief. There's no understanding. And now threatening is occurring too now. Now brother-in-laws are going to get involved with brother-in-laws. If she does this and this and this again, we're going to...
So when you're
we're gonna
talking
do a
about
divorce,
this,
Are you going to do that? We're going to beat you up. We're going to do
I'm
that.
going to take your daughter from you.
Yeah, I'm going to do all that. So that gets involved. That's when it gets extreme, and that's when we should be really warned.
So if question came up is if your wife and your mother are fighting, whose side do you take?
No, but what are they fighting upon? That's
Okay, so let's say because stuff comes up, right?
I mean, we got.
You didn't clean the house, or the way that my mom wanted you to clean the house. You didn't cook the food to the taste that we like, or whatever, because people start to take little nooks out.
See, this is the problem. Once again, we said this in the beginning. The roles, the mother-in-laws and the father-in-laws need to understand their roles now.
Yeah.
They're not the most important figure of the household now.
Mm-hmm.
They're secondary now.
Mm-hmm.
Let the daughter, the bahu, let her deal with the household.
Give her a chance.
Everything what we do has to be according to the Sharia every time. You don't like the food? What did Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi
Don't complain about food.
say when he didn't like the food? He just put it away.
Yeah.
He said, you don't like it, put it away. Brother, encourage your wife. If she doesn't like the food, why don't you maybe take her to a cooking class? Why don't you get her a Betty Crocker book? And maybe you guys can bake together or help together. Don't put the burden on the girl, man.
Yeah.
Let's just be fair. Like, some people don't know. Help her. So Sasuma, she likes to just do chugal all the time. Why don't you help her and say, no, Betty, it's like this, it's like that. It's not like this.
Try this, try
These
that.
recipes are traditional because our people were more cultured. Get involved more. Help her. Be like, no, it's like this, it's like that. Man, we're living in different societies.
Yeah.
You came from a different society. We're living in a different society now.
Yeah.
She is working.
Right.
She's taking care of the household.
Right.
She went to school here. Look how many things the daughter-in-law has done more than the mother-in-law. The mother-in-law has just sat on the manji from Pakistan, and she came here on a visa. Okay, she's sitting down, and she's just going around and just behind the daughter-in-law, whatever she's doing, and scooping. And stop it. What are you doing? But that's the culture.
But you have to give and take. There has to be a give and take. Like, the mother-in-law needs to step back. You often see, though, can I just say something for the guys out there? You often see the father-in-law doesn't get involved.
He's whipped.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He's whipped. He's scared. He doesn't know what to do.
So just before,
and honestly too, but before he doesn't want the drama too. Most of the father-in-laws, you'll see them they're just out of it, and they're like, what, I don't want this.
They'll just say hello, how are you doing, and that's it.
They go to the yadda, they chill with the older friends, or they go hunting trips and stuff like that. But listen, two things real quick. Hafiz Asif from Ilm City. Shout out to them. If you're not following Ilm City, do that on Facebook and YouTube. My dear brothers, all of them from Ilm City, but definitely Hafiz Asif, because I talk to them all the time. And then Mr. Asif Dana, salam to you, and shout out to you as well. Thank you for tuning in. Now here's the big thing. And plus, Hafiz Asif is from the UK, so it's like 12 o'clock right now. And they're still watching and supporting. So, support Ilm City. And we got this big thing brewing up very soon. So we're going to let you know about that shortly with Ilm City and Anjumani Gharib Nawaz. So the daughter comes into the house, right? So the daughter gets married. She comes into the in-laws. And now her role is to respect the mother and father that she's going into. So the in-laws, as their mother and father. So the role, what I've been taught is, look, if the daughter leaves the house, because the daughters are temporary, because she's going to get married, she's going to leave off and stuff like that. And those parents, the in-laws, now become her mother and father. So what happens now, and what does Islam say about when the daughter doesn't obey the in-laws? If the in-laws are good, what does Islam say about that? Because I'm going to talk about Sayyidina Siddiq Akbar radiyallahu an, and Sayyida Aisha radiyallahu anha.
Listen, just morally, I'm going to speak about, right? I already told you the concept of Sharia anyways. Morally here, if the daughter-in-law is not being rehabilitated, she's not been mediated, you spoke to her, the husband spoke to her, then listen, love, if you're not going to change yourself, I can't go on further like this, okay? And my mother-in-law, my mom, my dad, they're not going to accept this from you as well. Mm-hmm. You got to see what the problem is. If it's her fault and it continues to happen, then you got to let her parents know.
Yeah.
So listen, I'm going to give you a warning. This was happening. She's destroying the house, and it's causing a lot of grief. This is a warning for a talaq, for a divorce. You gotta let her know. If all means are closed, like we did everything, then the only option is to give a divorce, and then you move on. That's all I'm
Also,
saying.
if the spouse is God fearing, I think then they have to actually show that they accept the fact that the mother-in-law and father-in-law are also like their mother and father,
Yeah.
right? But then you also have to also have to accept the hukum in the Quran about the mother and father is that, I forget the English term for it, but in the Quran it says uffil lakum, right? Is that Allah is unhappy with you even at the least you say uff to them,
Yeah.
right? So I think it just comes back down to Islam and
Sigh.
right, sighing at your parents, right? It's like, oh, I don't want to
Huffing and puffing.
right, right.
Yeah.
And I think it should be the same for treating your mother-in-law or in-laws the same way.
No, I think when you look at the story or when we look at history, the relationship between the Prophet ﷺ and Sayyidina Siddiq Akbar radiyallahu an, the first rightly guided Khalifa of Islam. And you look at that, he was his best friend, but he was also his father-in-law. And he said that my darajat, because I didn't have a father, in Sahih Muslim, because I didn't have a father, he goes, Siddiq Akbar was also my best friend, but also a father figure to me. So that just tells you that it is about, you have to consider your father-in-law or your mother-in-law, also your father and your mother as well. And there's obviously that disconnect that's coming around. Now, so nowadays what's happening in Islam is what we see is these dating websites and these meet and greets and what do you call it? Speed dating. When you sit on a table, you get to know someone, you ask them a couple questions, you have like 3 minutes and then you switch to the next one. And then you go to the next one and you got Muslim matrimony and all of these things. What do we say about these things?
Oof. Times have changed a lot. If it's that desperate for you to do that, then that's fine. You should just do the old school way and just have your parents. Honestly, like my marriage, I tell you, like all the people who are watching and listening and my brothers in front of me, like I'm in a masjid, I cannot lie. I never seen my wife. At the time of marriage, I've never seen her. I saw her at the time of. And that's it. I trusted my elders and I did so. I have no khayashat. I had no desires. I trusted what my parents, my elders had for me. And I have the most beautiful and the best a friend that I can ask for is my wife, and we have a mutual understanding. You live with her, you should know. Everything is happy. There's no problem.
No dirty laundry out here. No, but yeah.
So like meaning to say, brothers, like do you really have to do these websites, and are you really have to do all that? Like, how many other people have interviewed that same person already and seen her? You know what I mean? Doing the speed dating. Like, what are you doing, man? Huh? Like, I don't know. You go on the website, like, you feel happy, but like...
No, speed dating in person. In person. So there's tables set up on one side, tables on the other.
Yeah,
they're sitting across. So you got a time. So I'm sitting, staring at someone across the table. And you speak to them for 5 minutes. Oh, hey, my name is this. This is what I'm at. And then a buzzer goes off. And then you got to go to the next seat. And then the girl sits there. And the guys just keep rotating. That's what they're doing now.
But like...
You also got to ask yourself, just morally, is it allowed in Islam to do something like that?
No, you can't.
Right. Now, if you disagree with it, why are you expecting something good to come from something haram?
MashaAllah.
Right.
Very good point.
If you want this person to be, the love of your life or someone like your best friend and you want to have a family with them, you can't expect the best if you're doing it the wrong way.
True. Very good point.
No, very perfect.
But you have now...
Because I'm so out of it, I don't even know what's going on. Like, speed dating.
But what... what when you look at, but the thing is that Muslims are doing this. There's people that are making Muslim websites and doing Muslim speeding, not now because of COVID, but this is a big thing that you can send a picture to someone, or what's that app called where you can pick the person that you want to meet and you swipe right and left. Tinder.
Muslim Tinder.
They have Muslim Tinder. So a person's photo comes up and Minder. That's what it's called. Thank you, Hafiz Yahya, for telling me. So you swipe right if you like the person. Swipe right if you like the person. Swipe left if you don't. But think
hilarious.
about this for a second.
Minder. That you're Sikh, bro.
Yo, and the thing is, Sorry, guys. That's actually really funny. But look, Tinder is used for one night stands.
Stuff.
Tinder is used for
That's
that
his original intention.
Yeah, that was the original intention. You meet someone, you do whatever, zina and stuff, and then you leave. So what is Minder gonna be?
Like, you know what? We're just like what the brother said already. Like, you know what do you expect something that's haram already? You can't speak halal from it. And
No, but why are people going that way? Is what
no, because they want their own desires. They forgot culture. There's culture. Islam is heritage. They're forgetting this.
Gee.
They want their own desires. They want all that, but they're playing, one foot in the water and one foot in the sand. For example, you'll see this too. Dating. Like one time we were in a restaurant and you can tell these Muslim couples are on a date, right? And they're like, "Oh, is this food halal?"
You're dating.
You're dating, but it's food halal, right? Like, think about that. And this is very mashhur too. So, like, what are you doing? What's the point of this date? If you like someone, brother, sisters, be that honest person. Ask for that proposal. And the other thing too, like what we don't have in our culture, the woman should propose too. The woman should propose to the man as well.
Oh yeah.
For a proposal.
Yeah.
I mean, this is all rewaj and culture, right?
Yeah.
Like if the woman actually really loves this man,
yeah,
ask for the proposal.
So nowadays, what we find, and another message came through, is what we find is that this dating happens. So it does happen. You're not going to stop it. It's going to happen. So it happens. So let's say someone, so the message was, let's say I do make that and I want to get to know someone. So we go at like Tim Hortons or something and we go to a coffee shop. So we're meeting on good intention. Like, you want to get married? Like, what do you expect from me from after marriage? That type of conversation. So now you do that and the guy, is trying to drop you home and then parks the car up and something happens. How do you come back from that and will Allah forgive you?
Okay, I'm gonna revise the question here. They went on a minder, and then they're parked up.
No,
then
the guy parked
happens.
up. The guy parked up.
Okay, then if something happens, and now they're asking for forgiveness. What do you expect's gonna happen to you in a parking lot? Like, like we went on a date already. Something called minder, like minder. Okay, and then what do you expect? Like for him to go on his knees and give you a bouquet?
Yeah.
Of course, man. Like, come on, man. Like, what are you trying to say? Well, Allah forgive you. Allah can forgive whoever He wants to, whenever He wants to. Ask for tawbah, whatever at all times. But you put yourself in a situation like that.
Be aware of what Dajjal. We talked about this too. Be aware of all of these ththings that are coming to place.
Azim. Like, what? This whole thing shouldn't have happened. The minder should have went to your house. That's what should have happened. What I mean?
So let's say,
like, listen, I'm gonna come and propose to your house, not in a restaurant.
What was stopping you from having a mahram there, right?
Yeah, I mean, oh my god.
But it's like a vicious circle. So and I have another question. So Hafiz Ab, I'm gonna go towards you on this one. But meaning to say, it's a vicious circle. Everyone has to be. It's a link, a chain of that needs to be linked together. The parents, the parents need to be linked. The parents need to be linked.
You guys in a parking lot and say, yo, what can I do? What do you mean, man? Confess in the church or something? I don't know. What else can I say? That's bad, man.
Say 10 Hail Marys.
Will Allah forgive me too now? You did it, and now you're saying Allah forgive me too. Astaghfirullah.
So what I was saying was that there's a chain. The parents have to have a good relationship with the.
No, it's bad.
I can't even get it.
Funny. Like, it's bad.
I can't even get it out, man. I can't even get it out.
Like,
sorry. And I apologize to the person. We're not laughing at you. Sorry, that was a lie. But anyways, what I mean is there's a chain and that chain. Okay. So the chain, I can't even stop laughing. The chain has to be, the parents have to be connected. It needs to be connected to the kids.
I'm not even, well, it's logical, right? Like, it's mantak, right? Like, I have to speak to people. You know, logic.
I'm
This
just
one's
gonna-
gonna happen in the rapid fire, right?
Right.
Guys, like brother and sisters. Like,
Okay, I'm gonna
no,
get it
no,
out. I'm gonna get it out.
I'm just
no,
gonna-
let me. I got it out. I get it
no,
out. Let me get it
rapid,
out.
like, rapid
I was
fire.
gonna guess your question.
No,
Like
let me
the
get it out.
relationship between the parents.
So
and
the thing is, it's a vicious circle. The parents have to have a relationship.
This better not happen in the rapid fire questions, buddy. Like that's all I'm saying. Like because this is gonna ruin it.
Okay,
I
look.
don't want to hear
Okay,
any questions like that.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
Very study questions.
The parents need to have a good relationship with their kids. Their kids have to have a good relationship with their parents. There has to be a mutual understanding, and there has to be a give and take. Yes? We all agree that. There has to be that communication, that link. Now, if you don't have that link with your parents, then these these relationships are never going to work. So where do you draw the line with your family, or sorry, you yourself going to pick your own spouse?
I would say, you know what, innamal a'malu binniyat. You know, actions are according to intentions, right? Do you have the correct intention when you're doing something, or when you're out of line, or you know what, you're doing something? Okay, say you found the girl, right?
Gee.
What's your next step there? Are you going to talk to your parents or one of your uncles or someone who can contact them?
But here's what happens though, and this is legit now, right? Like all jokes aside, because people have like serious questions, and we're gonna get to the next one. My thing is, can you get to know someone and commit yourself to marriage? This is a legit question. After one meet, because that's what they're saying. They're like, how can you get to know someone, and if they're good for marriage, you're pretty much like, you know what they say, like you're all in. You're putting your all in after one marriage. Does that make sense? That's what they're saying. Is that logical to go all in after one meeting?
No, you have to have trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala too, right?
MashaAllah.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to have trust, and you have to see the proposal as well, who this person is after this meet. You know, does he fit all the requirements? Is he obedient to his own parents? Islamic knowledge, how much knowledge does he have? These are the important questions first. Then you will see, you know, what type of car he has, and you know what, how much money he has, and stuff
But I mean,
like that.
to
you
get
know?
to know
I
someone.
think it's also like a vetting process too, you know?
Gee.
It's the same thing with, you know what, students graduating high school and going to university or college, right?
Mhm.
They're also picking a school, or they're also picking a career that can change their lives, right? For the rest of their lives, they're going to be doing the same thing.
Mhm.
How do you know that that university or something that you picked is the one for you?
Right.
It's a vetting process, right?
So there has to be a little bit. What you're saying is there has to be a little bit of trust and tawakkul on Allah subhanahu
Of course,
wa ta'ala.
but you also have
know,
to do
so-
your part, right? Did you
Absolutely.
ask the correct questions? You ask, you know what? Did you ask correct questions? Did you ask your parents for advice? Did you do your
And
part?
there's nothing wrong with just one meet. Who said just one meet though?
No, meaning
Like, no.
alone. That's what they're saying.
No,
If they're meeting at Tim Hortons, forget the Minder.
Right.
They're meeting at Tim Hortons or whatever, and they're just meeting, having coffee. They ask a bunch of questions. Can they go logically to their parents and say, "Well, I like this guy," after one meet?
But there's nothing wrong with that. Because look, when you have your parents involved, it's protecting you at all times. Let the parents and the parents alone talk and discuss. Let them start getting to know each other.
Yeah.
Because look, the rule is actually you would want to see each other's homes. Let the parents see the other parent's home. You want to see how they're living. You want to see if this lifestyle is similar to yours. And, you know, and go ahead.
So what did the Prophet ﷺ say? If you want to get to know someone, you either spend time with them, travel with them, and there was a third one I can't remember, migrate or move with them or something like that. But
We'll have a business transaction.
yeah, business transaction with them. So so you can. So what you're saying is once after the meet, then bring the families in and get the families to have meets and greets and stuff like that. Good. So I know it's almost been an hour, but because of that whole Minder stuff, so we're gonna take about 5 minutes, a little bit, and then we're gonna wrap up. So the next question is certain family members. What happens is when family members get involved. So this person told this person, you know, Sasuma told her brother and sister, and all of this stuff. So rumors start to spread, and when rumors are spread, because they're jealous, how should someone handle these rumors and people talking bad about them and doing chugli and stuff like
Amongst
that?
the family.
Yeah, because you know Sasuma doesn't get along with Bahu, and Sasuma is now telling her brothers and sisters who are telling other people. So that's how it spreads, right? It's like it spreads like wildfire. So now when people are coming back to you now and saying, "Oh, did you hear? Like your name's all over the family." How should one handle this? These rumors and stuff.
No, you should handle it like any other individual does, with composure and speaking the truth at all times. When these matters they come up, they should be addressed respectfully, and you should confront the issue. If you hear this, whoever you heard this from, the rumor from, if if this is a mother-in-law issue, speak to the mother-in-law. Like, Amma, did you say this and this and this and this? Because a lot of people are saying this, and it's not true. That's all you can say. And then it's composure, is dealing with the family properly, patiently, respectfully. These are the only advices I can give to the sisters. You guys got a lot of burden on you.
100%.
I'm telling you, of the stuff. Thank God I'm not a girl. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, no, thank God I'm not. You know what? In any issue, the women, I highly salute and respect you.
They have to burden
They
a
left
lot.
their homes. Firstly,
100%.
look at that. They deal with a new home. After that, they're all under trust on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Look at this. They leave their home. They're in their original home now, what we would say, with their husband, dealing with them and their issues. And then children, the taklif of having and raising children and dealing with all that as a mother.
It's a lot.
Sisters have a lot
No,
on their plate.
we salute the sisters.
Even
who are
Allah
holding
Hazrat Imam Ahl Sunnat Mujaddid Odino Millat has said, even this is Allah Hazrat is saying this in his Malfuz. He said, a man cannot even bear the fact of taking out a mouse from his body. Just symbolically, he's saying this, and they're taking out children, right? Men can't even bear that pain for 1 second. Look at the women. They dealt with a lot, man. Women, I highly love you and respect you guys. You guys are very honorable, respectful. And you know what? This is why women mean so much to us in Islam. Their modesty,
100%.
respect, and we respect everything that they've done. When you look at when you go to their home, each other's homes, the women are cooking for you. They're so cultured, they're so in tune, they're taking care of you, they're taking care of the guests. This is Islam. Islam can only teach you all this.
No, absolutely.
They're the backbone of the house.
Of course.
And they burden a lot. So we salute our sisters collectively for the
course.
ones who are taking care of kids, the ones that are cooking and cleaning the house and going to work even. My mother, Allah give her Jannat inshallah, was the same way. And your mom, aunties the same way. All the mothers, like we salute the mothers and the sisters even who are becoming mothers and all of these things, right? So Islam is that religion that gave rights to our sisters, gave rights to women. You were being buried alive, and now that one, we call it the jigr of the Prophet ﷺ, where the whole entire humankind from Sayyidina Adam to the last is going to have to bow their head when Sayyidah Fatima radiallahu anha will be passing. That's the izzat of a woman, and only Islam can teach that. So we salute our sisters.
The Quran honored the women, An-Nisa.
Of course,
There's
there's a whole chapter. People don't even know that. Say it again.
Surah An-Nisa.
People don't even know.
There's no chapter for the men.
Mashallah, like the woman is so honorable.
Surah Maryam as well.
Yeah, I mean they're after the women, right?
Yeah.
Like these chapters are they're respectfully for us to read and respect, and when we sit down and we actually learn the tafsir of all of this, then we can actually look at the value of a woman. But until we don't sit down and we don't collectively read the Quran, we won't understand the value of a woman.
No, absolutely. So it's been a good show.
I did want to add one last point
sure.
to the rumors and like the mother-in-laws and
GG.
people not getting along. It does boil down to one thing: is that your biggest family, your family, and those closest to you are either your biggest supporters or your worst enemies.
Right.
And that's what I think it just comes down to, is that when you are having those talks, is make sure you have the right people with you.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
And you don't want the ones who are going to egg it on
Yeah.
as well. So very good point. So Jazakallah, brothers, for a good episode. Family drama. It's always going to happen. The best thing is to keep yourself composed, trust in Allah, and keep deen first over dunya, always. And if you're God-fearing, a lot of good things will happen in your life, inshallah. So I'm going to turn it over to yourself first for closing remarks, and then we'll go to Hafiz Saab, and then we'll conclude, inshallah.
Listen, Tribulations will always occur. Trials will always occur. It's in the Quran. Problems will always occur. Family, you gotta let things go as well. A lot, right? This is just a trial. It's gonna go away. For the brothers and sisters, siblings who are in one home, living in one home, there's more barakah in one home. Always understand this. Live amongst each other, love each other. Believe me, when you're not here, then you're gonna feel it, right? Love, cherish that moment. Dramas are gonna occur in your household. Don't worry about it. Brush it off. Speak about it. I believe communication is a big thing. A lot of people hold grudges. Grudges leads to evil things. That should love more and hate less. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
And don't do anything that will displease Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Follow the Quran, follow the Sunnah as usual. That's the dawah, the Islah dawah I was going to say to you in the closing remarks. And keep your family united. Exactly what Hafiz Bilal said. Anyone that is trying to disunite,
Stay away from them.
stay away from them.
MashaAllah.
We're always for
Unity.
uniting. Always. Rasulullah salatu wasalam, he came to unite.
Of course.
Okay? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's name is Rahim. Rahim is relation. In the other term of is Rahmat, is mercy. From that word is Rahim. Rahim is relationship. Allah loves bondage. Allah loves mercy. Allah will give mercy to the ones who are going to abide Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Sure.
Dear respected brothers and sisters, love each other, love your family. There will be no one else that's going to be with you unless only your family. There's no one else that's going to be there.
Of course. Hafiz.
Yeah, and just I got like 2 points. One is that, you know what, if you have family issues or marriage problems, just know that you're not burdened with more than you can bear.
MashaAllah.
Right? Just do your part, take your responsibility where you're supposed to, and tawakkul ala Allah. And the last thing is, just to add on, is people do regret this when they don't do this, is that your parents are only here for a limited time.
Of course.
Right? Take advantage of every moment you get. Those that don't have their parents or even grandparents, they regret not having spent more time with them. You know
100%.
what? It's a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that smiling at your mother is a thawab of one umrah.
Of course.
Right?
Accepted umrah.
Accepted umrah.
MashaAllah.
Yep.
And if she smiles back.
Accepted the thawab of hajj.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah. So that was our episode number 5. Alhamdulillah, we're getting along with a lot of these episodes and stuff like that. So great topics, people are bringing up and ideas and stuff like that. So once again, Hafiz Bilal, Janab Amir Qadri Sahib, I want to thank you guys for taking the time out to be a part of this. It was a good one. And we'll continue to get better and such. And keep sending in your questions, keep sending in your comments, keep sending in your requests, etc. So keep that coming. And then we'll try our best to obviously fulfill and answer all these questions. We got some great programs for the rest of January, inshallah. Next week for the parents and who have children that are going to school, please tune in. That's all I'm going to say for now. If you have children that are in the schooling system, or if you're in school and you want to watch, you need to watch next week, inshallah. So we have that going on. And then the last two weeks, the last 2 episodes, of January are going to be really, really good, and it's going to be breathtaking, inshallah. So we're going to leave it at that. Once again, I'm Umar Qadri and mic'd up on YouTube. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, follow us on Instagram, Sufi Council of Toronto, on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. Continue to follow, and there's a link to donate to the Masjid. We all understand that the Masjids are closed at the moment, so please help your generosity building the house of Allah. As much as you give, Allah will reward you with the house, with you building the house of Allah in this dunya. He will build you something similar in the akhirah. Donate.suficouncil.com to support the cause and to support the effort while the masjids are closed. So inshallah, please do that. And we will see you next week, Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live on Mike Top 416 on YouTube. Jazakumullah khair. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.